Avengers Doomsday is getting closer, and if even half of what we heard is true, this could be the biggest MCU crossover event we've ever seen. So in this video, we're breaking down my quick predictions and hopes for the Doomsday movie coming out in December 18th. So, number one, I'm hoping this isn't just another Avengers movie with everyone against one big bad. We've got that before with Loki, Ultron, Thanos. I want to see all-out multiverse war with variants of villains and heroes throughout the entire Marvel universe. This would be the perfect way for comic book fans like myself to see heroes and villains that I know will never get their own standalone movie or TV series. I'm looking at you, Superior Iron Man and World War Hulk. We already know we're going to see the Fantastic Four, at least one X-Men universe, and obviously the MCU. But what else are we going to see? Are we going to see the return of Universe 838 from the Multiverse of Madness movie? Are we going to see more characters from the Void, like Old Man Blade, Elektra, or the remains of that Fantastic Four team? Are we finally going to see Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man? Will we get any universes from the What If TV series? This is something I want to see, where we have all these variants of all these characters who have really good story arcs in the comics and in other medias, but we know Marvel will never take the time to give them their own movies or series, as they're either smaller characters or they're versions of characters that can't really justify having their own TV series or movie. I hope it happens. It makes sense for Marvel to feature expendable universes and give us some juicy variants. Just think about the merchandise, the money, the toys.
I mean, look at this place, man.
It'd be really cool to see all these alternate versions of characters duke it out on Battleworld or in the Void or whatever they end up doing. Number two, Doctor Doom isn't just a villain. Not even a likable villain like Thanos. He's the hero of this story. He's the character that you're actually rooting for, even though he's the villain. I mean, it kind of helps with him literally having the same face as the last hero from the Infinity War saga, Robert Downey Jr. I'm hoping Doom doesn't get the generic MCU villain treatment. Despite there being a lot of fantastic MCU villains, like Josh Brolin's Thanos was simply amazing. However, we've had a lot of throwaway MCU villains that were nearly wasted. Ultron, Whiplash, the Mandarin.
Bloody hell, bloody hell.
Don't move.
I'm not moving. You want something? Take it. Although the guns are all fake, because those wankers wouldn't trust me with the real ones.
What?
Hey, do you fancy either of the birds?
Heard enough.
Well, at least that Mandarin. It would make sense for Doom to be the necessary evil in this movie, as his intentions are mostly good. This isn't about him destroying half the universe or conquering a planet. This is about him holding the remains of the surviving universes and creating Battleworld, and at least saving something before everything is lost. Number three, the Fantastic Four are the key to multiversal travel. Now, this was briefly covered in the Fantastic Four movie. If you remember, there was a small bit of dialogue where Reed was studying Galactus' ship, and he mentioned he needed about 10 years to fully understand it. And I believe this is the reason why we see a 4 years later time jump in the post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four. This means that Reed is 4 years deep into research on Galactus' ship, which also makes sense for Doom to show up around this time, as Reed has already began studying the ship. This time jump also allows Franklin to grow up older, to match the age he was in the Secret Wars comic book, as well as to allow Valeria to be born, as Valeria has a very important relationship with Doom in the comics, and I believe that will be mimicked in these upcoming Marvel movies. But with Reed being 4 years into studying Galactus' ship, if you remember, that ship is still in their orbit, it would make sense for more time to pass, either throughout the movie or off screen, for Reed to fully understand Galactus' technology, which will allow them to get into the MCU like we see in the Doomsday teaser and in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. Number four, the final act isn't just everyone versus Doom like we've had in every Avengers movie, where it's everyone against Ultron or everyone taking on Thanos. This is everyone versus everyone. This is every universe fighting for survival as time runs out, and this is where I'm hoping to see the return of a lot of legacy characters like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, as well as characters that we haven't had on screen yet. Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man, or or other variants that we haven't had on screen yet. Perhaps Captain Hydra, a evil version of Thor, the Maker. It'd be really cool to see all these different variants take the spotlight in some way or the other, as the chances of them ever getting any sort of live action representation are slim. It'd be a really cool way for Marvel to acknowledge a lot of these Easter eggs, like they did in Deadpool Wolverine, where we saw Old Man Logan, Patch, Weapon X, Short King Wolverine, Cowboy Paul. You get the idea. I think it'd be the perfect opportunity for Marvel to squeeze in as many random comic book variants as possible, as well as a few new ones. We've got 3 series of What If of all these different variants that you could squeeze in one way or the other, like Blade Knight, Captain Carter. Again, you get the idea. I don't need to ramble on anymore. I'm really hoping for us to get a lot of different variants and for them to all take the spotlight in one way or the other, as we're really not ever going to get another opportunity to see these characters in a live action format. But most importantly, with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four and the Avengers all fighting each other,
Fuck the Avengers.
Yeah.
this for me is way more interesting than just seeing them take on a generic army or all just having a go at Thanos. Who remembers how good Civil War was? Civil War had me more on the edge of my seat than Infinity War. Why? Because it was hero versus hero. Seeing your absolute faves fighting each other to the death and not knowing who to side with and who's going to come up on top. Admit it. First time watching Civil War made you wonder if Iron Man was going to kill Bucky or if Cap was going to kill Iron Man or the other way around. You know, Civil War ended very differently in the comics. I hope we see some high stakes and I hope we see some true conclusions to some of the characters we've got in the MCU. I'd imagine there's going to be a bunch of Thunderbolts that will probably go, as well as a lot of Avengers on Sam Wilson's team that will probably go. It's also going to be interesting to see the return of the X-Men, now in comic book accurate suits, and seeing which one of those will make it into Secret Wars and which one of those will have their stories conclude in Doomsday. And lastly, I'm hoping the Russo brothers blow us away on why Robert Downey Jr. is playing Victor Von Doom. They said in numerous interviews that there's a reason why Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doom, and that this movie will work as a sequel to Avengers Endgame, which we can kind of see with the return of Chris Evans as Steve Rogers from the first Doomsday teaser. But I'm hoping there's no lazy way on why RDJ is back. Now, I've already mentioned before on the channel, I believe there's no actual reason to this other than obviously it being a cash grab and, you know, it's made the movie far more exciting. However, the way I see it, I see this being no different than Chris Evans playing Human Torch or Michael B. Jordan playing Human Torch and Killmonger. I'm hoping there'll be some sort of in-canon reason on why this is the case, and maybe they'll explain why we've got Chris Evans as both Human Torch and Captain America, and perhaps this will be the same thing for Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. We've had multiple theories of obviously Iron Man being a Doctor Doom variant or Doctor Doom being an Iron Man variant. I think really if this is the actual outcome of the movie, it's going to leave a lot of fans disappointed. So I'm really hoping that there's some sort of creative reason on why this is the case. If it's got anything to do with Iron Man having all the Infinity Stones at the end of Endgame. But that is my final hope for this, and also a prediction that we're going to get some sort of in-canon reason on why this is happening, other than it being a coincidence. But that's all for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below on what you're hoping to see in the movie or what you predict we'll get in the movie. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.